Hey guys, I want to talk about Excel 4. So this is a little more complicated, and partly because I want to get you prepped up for your own uh, project work. Um, this should open on the first sheet, which says Excel 4, has a little introduction, has some instructions. Notice that at the bottom you have all these different tabs: salaries, weighted average, sheet 4. Okay, so we're going to go to salaries. That's the first instruction. And we're going to type find the average. Now, we just worked on mean median mode, so you should feel good about how to do that. You got quite a few employees here, so you've got to do a longer set of numbers, but because the formula just goes from the first number to the last number, it really doesn't matter how many you have, you just need to know where it is. Now, do notice that these four leading off, just kind of continuing to hit this point that we talked about in class, has a word number, right? So you got to actually rewrite these as full numbers to be able to find the mean, the median, and the mode. Here, this part, I want you to write down the category and then write down how many there are. Okay, I'll do the first one for you. CEO, there is 1. Vice President, I'll just call it VP, there are 3. Now, as you get more of these, it's going to be harder to count. So let me show you a neat trick that'll help you count. If you highlight a bunch of cells and then you let go, you go down here, it gives you the count. The count is how many you selected, right? So actually with numbers, it's pretty cool. It does more than just count. It gives you the count, it gives you the sum, and it gives you the average. So that would be the next row is manager 9. Okay, you got to do the rest. Now, to do the weighted average, we're going to use the scaffolding that we did in class. So now again, I got to kind of show you a model of this so that I don't do this work for you. So I'm going to give you a couple of sheets here. We're going to make up some numbers. This is Ben's company. Okay, and we've got level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Okay, so let's say that there are 32 of these people, 45 of these people, 67 of those people, 89 of those people. These people make 34,000. These people make 45,000. These people make 89,000. And these people make 112,000. Okay, I guess it would be helpful to put labels on this. This is how many. This is what the salary. Right. That's kind of similar to what we have here, right? Okay. Now, this table, this part of the table would be like the salaries part, right? Where I've got the category and the number of people. This part I need for my weighted average table. Okay. So I'm going to do some copying and pasting here. Weighted average. I need these people, or these labels, and I need the salaries. All right, salary. And I need the percentages. Okay. So where am I going to get these percentages from? The percent of people, percent of employees in this category. So remember, a percentage is a part to whole ratio. Well, how many employees are there total? So if I go down here and I look at my total, and I can use the sum formula for that. Right? There's 233 employees. Well, then this ratio, 32 over 233, gives me the percentage of employees in the category. Again, I'll round this up using the percentage button. It'll round it automatically for me. So that's how I can calculate the percentages. And again, I don't have to do anything with my calculator. I'm just using Excel to do it for me. 67 divided by 233. I'm not using cell references here, even though they're on the same sheet in my little example. They're not on the same sheet in yours. So doing cell references is probably harder than just typing the numbers in. Okay. So boom, I got my salaries, I got my percentages. So that's what you need to do here. You need to fill all of this information. Part of it, like the salaries, you can do some copying and pasting, but the percent of employees, you're going to have to do a calculation. Okay, and you want to make sure and change these to percentages if it's not already. It looks like some of them are, and some of them aren't. Okay, now how do I calculate a weighted average? Well, the instructions in class were if you've built a table, that's step one, then the next step is to multiply across. So we take this and we multiply across. So I've got G5 times H5, and I'll do the same thing for these next three. Now let me just show you a neat trick with Excel. Click on the cell, go to the bottom right corner, see how the cursor changes. I'm going to left click and I'm going to drag down and let go, and it does it for me. This is amazing. G5 times H5, G6 times H6. I'm looking up here. G7 or G8 times H8. Awesome. Okay. So what's the next step after you multiply across? Add down. Sum and put it all together. Okay, now this is money, and the last step is to divide, but there's a condition. So divide only if something, make sure you look at your notes to see whether you divide or not. Okay, so then you can fill this out. You can take the answer, find the weighted average, and then look back at the salary sheet. It should match one of these three numbers. And that'll tell you if you're doing that right or not. Okay, now there's some extra instructions here. Oh, yes, that's what I just talked about, actually. All right, good talk. Summary question. Final sheet. Change the CEO's salary, increase it or decrease it, and explain how this changed the weighted average. All right, so first of all, use copy and paste. So take this whole thing and just copy and paste. Watch this. Control C is copy, and then I go to sheet 4. Okay, and I'm going to overwrite that. I'm just going to do Control V, which is paste. Now my column widths didn't come with me, but the whole structure of my table did, which is pretty awesome. And of course, you're going to have all your information in here already because you did that. And I would recommend including all of the calculations and the total that you got. And that way, all you have to do is change this one number. Okay, so here's what I mean. If I go to, where did I do it? Here we go. If I go to this and I say, oh wait, what if I change my level 1 salary? So I'm going to change this to, now keep your eyes on this cell. I'm going to make it yellow so you focus on it. I'm going to raise this. I'm going to go to $120,000 on my level 1. Okay, and it went up. Now, I want to kind of keep track of what just happened. So actually, this is easier to write down on a piece of paper, 59,596.57. And then if I do Control Z or undo, it'll go back to what it was before. Because when you answer this question, how did this change the weighted average? You should really, think about how you want to answer that. But quantitatively, how it changed is probably going to be something like a difference. Then change another salary in the sheet and explain how it changed the weighted average. So really, you're doing the same thing twice, but one time with the CEO, the other time with anything you want. When you do this other one, you need to tell me what you did, because I don't know what you're going to change, right? So just make it clear. Save, submit, boom, you're done. Okay, this has a lot of little parts to it, so if you need to stop, pause, reference parts of the video. Let me know if you're having trouble. You can always text me, reach out to me, and ask for help. Okay.